Hi, sir.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Am I audible right now?
We can clearly hear your voice. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm Satvika and I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's in Shreyas Institute of Engineering from Hyderabad. And my current percentage is 70 percentage. And I'm looking for the course cybersecurity because, as you know, the market, all the market is like low right now regarding AI or any full stack. So I'm starting to learn new course which I want to put my efforts into it by learning. So yeah, thank you.
That's great, Satvika. That's great. So, Swati, can you go ahead and give me your introduction? Yes, Swati, you're audible.
Hello, I'm Swati Patel. I am currently working professionally as a business analyst and I want to pursue this course for the better career opportunities in my country.
Okay. Swati, I think we lost your audio.
Hello, am I audible?
Okay, not to worry, Swati. We can take your introduction a bit later. So, Mr. Venugopalachari, can you go ahead and give us your introduction?
Hi everyone, myself Venu. I'm a technical head for a company. I have been working in a web development sector from last 7 years. It's very nice to connect with you all.
We feel the same way, Venu. So, Shravani, can you give us a small introduction also?
I'm Doyapati Nagalakshmi Shravani, and I am currently pursuing B.Tech fourth year in KK and KS Institute of Technology and Sciences under the stream of Information Technology. And coming to the ethical hacking, I'm interested in it because nowadays AI is totally dominating the world. So this ethical hacking may be good for future generation and prevent the hacking. So that's all.
Thank you, Shravani. Thank you for the information. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on ethical hacking and its importance in the industry. My name is Ranadeep Suradevara. I'm the founder and CEO of XploitForge. XploitForge is a dedicated cybersecurity training platform designed to give you live practical skills 100% of the entire course. This is not another training institute to look for in Hyderabad or something like that. No. Because I myself am also the founder of Vertilock, which is a cybersecurity company. We are currently undertaking 4 to 5 projects currently going on. So you will be learning from the industry experts and not dumb some boring theory on the internet or someone giving a PPT lessons. No, of course there will be there will be some part of theory, at least 20% theory, and the remaining 80% will be completely on practical skills. Because I believe that in the interview, no matter how much of theory you are able to present them, after going into the job you will face a hard time if you do not have any practical skills. So that's why I designed Exploit Forge. This is my story. I started in 2024 April. It's been 1 year since I started Vertilock, and that's all about me. So in a couple of minutes, let's start the meeting. There are still people who registered and yet to join. And I would request you guys to please turn on your cameras. Please sit in a comfortable position and please turn on your cameras. So hello guys, let's start the session. So today let's talk about ethical hacking. Ethical hacking as a career is completely different from any other roles that you pursue in cybersecurity. Why? Because ethical hacking is not just about defending your network. It's also about protecting critical data. And we are not just defending here. We are attacking. We do this on the basis of offensive methodologies. But what do I mean by offensive methodologies? First one, let's say you're going for a war or a fight. What are the tools you'll take?
Okay.
Machine gun.
Builds weapons like shields and knives.
Great, Satvika. So shield, knives, swords, and all, right? Because you need a shield for defense, so that people can't hurt you. But at the same time, you need a weapon to attack in order to win the war. These shield and weapon are two parts of your security. In the same way, ethical hacking, which is offense, and defense are also both parts of cybersecurity. Because without a clear offense, you cannot always defend. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hi, sir.
Hello, Satvika. So, as I was saying, ethical hacking is an offensive approach. Let me take you through a small story. A person who is in the final year of BTech is creating a project. You guys do projects in final year, right? So these people are trying to build a machine that is capable of lifting two people while wearing on a person like an exoskeleton. So he's making a suit which can lift double his weight. So for him to effectively make his project, at the top of the list or something, he has to test it before presentation, right? You need to test it before presenting. You need to put it more weight on that. You need to add weight so much that it can't handle and see at which point it breaks down. So ethical hacking, it works also the same way, because whenever you're building an application, a website, a domain, or whenever you're building an infrastructure, there are always hackers trying to hack into your systems. But an ethical hacker's POV is that what would a hacker do if he wants to hack into this system? What would he think? What are the information he needs? So being an ethical hacker in a company means you'll be hacking them legally and then finding out any issues with their code, any issues with their applications, any issues with their network. Whenever there's a weakness in the system, if they are prone to cyber attacks, you tell them by testing it out as an ethical hacker. But sir, what are the roles and responsibilities of an ethical hacker? What does this person do? What an ethical hacker does is he identifies vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are weaknesses in the system. So an ethical hacker finds those vulnerabilities, reports them to the authorities, and advises them on how to patch those, how to get rid of them. And also his main role is to prevent any data breaches, which means loss of data. Any company, any software company, any startup which is working on building their next $1 billion company, they need data for sales. They need customer data in order to send customized ads for promotions. So all that data is personally identifiable information, which is called PII, which means any information that is relatable to a person particularly is called as a PII. So if I just say Shravani, there might be hundreds of people in the world, thousands of people. But if I want to exactly match the Shravani who is in this call, I should say Naga Shravani, Lakshmi Shravani, Boyapati. So which one has the most relevance to this person? Shravani or Boyapati Nagalakshmi Shravani?
Boyapati Nagalakshmi Shravani.
So if I say Boyapati Nagalakshmi Shravani, it's definitely about this person. But if I just say Shravani, Satvika or any other name, it's about a random person I'm talking about, because I cannot pinpoint the exact person. So all the information these companies collect from us are known as PIIs. It can be your PAN number, or it can be your address, or it can be your full name according to your Aadhaar card. Something that can distinguishedly identify that we are talking about a specific person. So ethical hacker does is he identifies vulnerabilities and he makes sure that the data is not leaked over the internet. Clear? Yes, am I audible?
Yes,
Since you
sir.
guys aren't responding, I'm assuming I was not able to. Okay. Okay. But then where do we use ethical hacking? Where does ethical hacking be used? What are the sectors? What are the domains where ethical hacking is used? This first one is financial sector or corporate security. So why do corporates need security? Why do IT companies or Deloitte, TCS, IBM, Wipro, why do these companies need cybersecurity? They are such large companies, right?
To
So,
protect their data.
yes, the bigger a company is, the more amount of data it handles. Data, information, facts, researches, reports, and all. Everything will be stored in a company's database, right? In order to secure that data, in order to make sure that nobody is stealing that, ethical hacking is also important in the corporate industry because it ensures the safety of critical business applications or customer data and internal networks. Okay, customer data we have already talked about that. But what is internal networks? Which means all the important devices, all the computers that they are hosting in that particular premise, they need to make sure that all those devices are completely safe. Why? Because it's a software company, it's an IT company. If all the computers in the particular organization are down, there's no way they can be working. Can they? So, in order to make sure that their infrastructure, their network is completely safe, they ask ethical hackers to test the security of their network to see if there are any loose nodes or if there are any weak passwords or if there are any old devices that are within the reach of the network. Because when you talk about old devices, there are many vulnerabilities which are already known to hackers. So the moment they came to know that you are using a particular software or a particular device which has older versions, hacking into your system is like taking a walk in the park. They'll just do it like that in a whim. Then we have critical business applications. So what are critical business applications? Whenever you talk to professionals or when you talk to your brothers or sisters who are working in the IT industry, they'll be spouting out names like ServiceNow, Jira, or Zoom calls or Teams and all that stuff. So those are all needed for them to perform daily operations. If they want to run the company, they'll need Teams for communication, they'll need Jira for ticketing, they'll need ServiceNow for service requests. There'll be many tools which are critical for the business. If those tools are compromised, if those tools are hacked, the entire company will come to a halt because there is no communication, there is no support, there is no development of new code. So that's why corporates need ethical hacking. Then we have government security. Okay, corporates, I understand very perfectly that their needs, their goals, and their regulations are stating that they need to secure their data. But why does government give a damn about cybersecurity or ethical hacking? What data does government have? Any idea what kind of data related to us the government holds? So let's take our state governments. What information regarding us do they have? What does your state government have on you?
Address, PIIs,
Address, PIS, your bank account number.
income, salary info, family
Yes.
details, family trees.
Every single detail that is related to your family is in this hands of your state, right? So the state government also employs policies and regulations to make sure that these data is completely safeguarded from hackers. Not ethical hackers, hackers. So what else do they have? So we just talked about the state data, but if we talk about an entire nation, there will be information about the military, the weapons they are designing, their future prospects, any blueprints related to some dams or any projects they are undertaking, military classified information. Everything will be at the national government. So the national government also employs ethical hackers to test the security of their infrastructure and their servers. A small fact about India is that India is still not digitalized in terms of data storage. 80% of the data related to India is still in mainframes, is still in hardware devices. They are not yet backed up to the cloud. During the recent war with Pakistan, many were concerned that Pakistan might do a cyber war against India. But there's nothing much Pakistan can do because the data is still in hardware devices. If they're in the cloud, they can hack easily. But we are still handling data in raw formats. There's no way Pakistan get physical access to our devices. So in terms of cyber war, we got it covered. Then we have
It's a good
government
thing
website.
to have data in mainframe, or it is safe to we have data in clouds.
Can you come again, Param?
Sir, I'm asking that the data, if it is in the hardware format, I mean in hardware, I mean that is in mainframe, or the data should be in the cloud, which is safer option.
We can't say for sure which is the safest because if you are talking about an offline storage, mainframes are the greatest. But if you
Mhm.
want the data to be online and yet be safe, then cloud is the best option. But of course, configuring the cloud is all comes at a very high price, and also it takes a lot of expertise in order to configure the cloud correctly to make sure that it is safe.
Right. Right.
Then we have government websites. Do you guys know Aadhaar website where you can download or modify your Aadhaar details?
Yes, sir.
So I have a small speculation. If it's a hypothetical question. If I can hack into Aadhaar's database, will I be able to get all your information, like your bank accounts and all that stuff? The entire Aadhaar website and the data is with me. Do I also have access to your bank details?
Yes, sir.
Satvika says yes. What about the rest?
Yeah, if you have connected your bank account with the other, then yeah, it is possible. I mean, biometrics, or
It's a
maybe,
yes or no question, I guess.
I mean, yes.
Okay. The remaining three people, four people, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Swati is also saying yes. Okay. Swati, I can't see you.
Yes, it is.
Venu is also saying yes.
No.
Okay. Shravani is saying no. The majority is saying yes. So shall we go with yes? You know, India is a democratic country, right? Whatever the majority people says yes, it goes. But that's not the case here. I'll give you a small insight into how Aadhaar stores the data. Aadhaar doesn't care what you're adding to it. It does not store any of your bank account details or your PAN card details. Nothing is linked to your Aadhaar. So whenever your Aadhaar is verified, the only thing it carries is that if this person is identifying or not. So it will generate an OTP and that's all. That's how Aadhaar works. Aadhaar doesn't have your bank account details or not even for phone number. Only for validation it will take, but for nothing else, no. This was confirmed by the chief designer of Aadhaar security himself at the Shield conference in February 2025, where I was an esteemed guest over there and had the great opportunity to talk to the chief security officer for Aadhaar data. And he himself stated that Aadhaar doesn't have any access to your data but only validates your identity. But any other government websites like your driving license or your health records are all stored inside. So if you hack into those websites or web applications, you're gonna get it. All the information about the people, you'll get it. Then we have healthcare. Cybersecurity or ethical hacking for healthcare industry is a vast market out there. Because have you guys watched the movie Abhimanyu, for acted by Vishal? So in that movie, there's a scene where a hacker takes control of a health device which is implanted inside the heart of a person. He manipulates that into supplying more amount of data, more amount of pumping into the heart, and he kills him. So when a person knows the kind of disability you are having and the type of device you are using for cure, they can be used against people. For example, if you have a brain transplant and are using a small device on your head, if someone wants to take revenge on you, they can hack into it and zap your brain with some electricity. If they overload it with voltage, what happens? Your brain will go into a shock, right? It's a hazard for your health also. So healthcare security is also a major concern when it comes to cyber security. Also dealing with patient records, devices, and preventing hackers from gaining access to the devices unauthorizedly. So preventing people from coming into your room without consent. That's a small example for that. For example, you are living in a house, you have a separate room of yours. How would you feel if people always barge into your room without even knocking on the door? What would your feeling be?
The building again.
Swati can't hear you.
Disturb the building.
It'll be annoying, right? Of course, Indian parents doesn't care about our privacy. That's a different story. But how we feel is that we'll feel annoyed. In the same way, if hackers are given unauthorized access, not voluntarily or not readily, due to some error in the system or something, then all the patient data, customer information, hospital data is gone, which will be a serious violation of data protection regulations called GDPR, Global Data Protection Regulation, or General Data Protection, you can call both. Then we have financial security. Of course, the most sensational topic about cybersecurity, finance. Every day you see on the internet, this person got scammed 1 lakh, that person lost 20,000, this person lost 5,000. Why would people lose thousands and thousands of dollars or rupees on online scams? It's pretty obvious, right? Okay, in that back in 2018, 15, all the times, our bank OTPs doesn't show the purpose they are being sent. So even if you are taking out, if you are purchasing online, it will only send OTP only. There won't be any purpose of the OTP. But now, when you try to book something online, your bank will deliver an SMS saying that this is the OTP for you to verify your purchase on Amazon for this much rupees. But if people are still being lured into traps with this kind of technology, I don't think it's the fault of the technology or the website. It's a human error. So making sure that any financial related information or data and transactions along with banking systems are safe from hackers and threats. Ethical hacking is also a major part of financial security. But what does ethical hackers do? What does it differentiate them from non-ethical hackers or regular hackers? Ethical hackers follow rules. They follow certain guidelines in order to make sure that the company they are working for or the client they are serving are completely safeguarded. But what are these rules? What does ethical hackers follow? First one is authorization. Whenever you are performing an ethical hacking operation, a penetration testing, a security audit, or anything, you need to have a written consent from the authorized party. So, for example, let's say Satvika is the CEO of a company, as a software company, and Shravani is a cybersecurity person. Now, Satvika approached Shravani asking that, hey, I want you to check my company security. I'm not sure if my employees are following the guidelines and they're having certain protocols in place or not. So the first thing Shravani has to do is ask Satvika for a written acknowledgement, a written authorized letter stating that I, Satvika, the founder and CEO of so-and-so company, is authorizing Shravani to perform a penetration testing or an ethical hacking exercise on my company grounds. Without that consent, you are no different from a regular hacker or a black hat hacker. The consent must be taken from the authorized party, either at least on the CEO, CFO, or that level, not regular employees. Then you have scope definition. Are you guys done with your final year projects, or is it still going on?
Done, sir.
Still going on, sir.
It's ongoing. So, what is the scope of your project? What are the limitations?
Like our project is related to this security and all. We use Saneri, which is a software used to like protect the web applications.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very basic thing where you can only protect like one website at a time, not multiple websites. So that is the limitation of our project.
See, scope doesn't mean how limited you are. Scope defines what are your parameters, what is your range, how much are you able to, what do we say, research, how much are you able to try on. For example, if you went for shopping with your parents and they say that your scope is 4 to 5 dresses, they won't buy you more than that. So, what is the meaning of scope here? It's the maximum you can choose from. In the same way, the scope for an ethical hacking exercise is that you can only perform this exercise on a particular set of systems, on a particular website, on a particular web page only. For example, if I am an ethical hacker and one of you are my client, you wanted to test your login page. No other pages you need. All the other pages are relatively safe, so you don't want any other additional burden. So you'll say, hey Randeep, I want you to test my login page. So in the authorization letter, you'll also include the scope of my engagement, stating that you are to engage this particular web page of my website and only test the security of the login page, so that there's only a certain limit for me to work on, a fixed range where I should work. It's not limited to a website. It can be a bunch of systems, stating the IP address range from 192.168.10.7 to 192.168.10.25. These 18 systems you need to work on, which means the ethical hacker must follow the rule and he should only verify that the contents of those 18 computers only. He should not check any other device. It's like saying you need to work on this only, so please work on this. Do not touch anything else. So that's what scope definition is. Then you have privacy respect. So whenever you're doing this security testing or cyber security exercises, you'll find a lot of unnecessary data which is found on the employee systems which are present in the company. So there may be different people, they might store their family data, photos or something. But even if you find some data of that kind, you should not take any of the data for yourself. You should not take any of the data for yourself or report that these people are storing these kinds of data outside of the company or outside of the testing. No, you have to make sure that any data that you are coming across is properly reported to the authorities and you are not tampering with it in any manner. Copying, editing, changing the details, nothing. You should not even touch those files. Your only duty is to report them to the authorities. Then we have report findings. So whatever you found in the first 3 phases, you need to report it to the concerned authorities who gave you a written permission. While sending the reports also, you should not send it to every single person inside the organization, but only to the person who authorized your exercise, who authorized your engagement. Without that, you should not do anything you should not share it to anyone else. It doesn't matter if they are manager or your friend. No, you should not share, because it clearly violates the NDA policy, non-disclosure agreement. So whenever you are doing this, you will be writing an NDA, which means you should not disclose any of the information you find inside the company to the outside public, and the company will also give you a signed NDA saying that it will not reveal any of the contents about our reports without the written consent of the particular individual who made the test. Got it, guys? Just nod your head. I can see you guys.
Yes, sir.
Great. Then, the types of hackers. We just talked about what ethical hackers do. But what other types of hackers are there? So, the first one, white hat hackers, also known as ethical hackers, who test the systems and who test the security of systems legally, which means they legally hack into computers, find their weaknesses, and help them secure them for the future, where actual hackers may target their websites or devices. Next one we have are black hat hackers. These black hat hackers are what we see over these movies and everything. So everyone who is a fan of hacker movies know that all that they are doing is unethical hacking or black hat hacking, because nobody in there takes permission to hack into systems. Am I correct? So, coming to black hat hackers, these are also known as cyber criminals. These are the people who commit crimes on the internet. Exploiting vulnerabilities without consent, or cheating people into paying some money, or blackmailing them, taking photos of girls and harassing them. Cyber criminals and all this stuff comes into black hat hackers. These people are like the evil stuff. They do not care if you are a regular person or if you are a very kind person. It doesn't matter to them. The only thing that matters to them is the data and the information they can find, along with any financial gain. Then we have grey hat hackers. These people are in the middle, somewhere in the middle of white hat hackers and black hat hackers, because they do not truly have any malicious intentions, though they hack into systems without any authorization. Grey hat hackers are like your newbies in school. They learn something on the first day, they want to go home and show it off to their mother. Mom, today I wrote the letter A, today I wrote B. So it's that enthusiasm that drives them. They take care mostly about, they want to test something they learned on the internet and just have the fun of hacking. They don't want to your data, they don't want to steal your information, they don't want to damage your networks or systems. Their primary goal is to test their skills. And in a very best case scenario, these people might even report those findings to the so-called or the prospective company. But most of the times these are ignored, because these people doesn't have any proper background in cybersecurity. So people will ignore their messages stating that, hey, this guy is pulling some prank or something. But those pranks might have become a serious threat for these guys in the future. We don't know. Also, these are the three major types of hackers. But under the surface, there are a couple more of them, called the script kiddies. These are like your noobs in PUBG games. Do you guys play PUBG? Okay. Do you guys play any games? Offline or online? So whenever someone new joins into your group or a particular small party of you guys, what will you say? Hey, since you're new, you take it easy for today. You learn from us. You do whatever you're doing, repeat that, and you learn. These script kiddies do the exact same thing. They take pre-written scripts from the internet, written by famous hackers or someone who just on a whim gave them the code. They'll take it, they'll run it on the system and think that they're actually hacking. They do not have any knowledge about cybersecurity, hacking, data breaches, nothing. All they knew was they got a code, they need to run it, and the system will be hacked. That's all. Without proper knowledge, they'll only just be feeding off the internet. Then we have hacktivist. Do you guys know social rights activists? Activists or online influencers. Do you know, guys? So whenever something happens, these people come on the internet and shout it like it's no one's business. But in reality, they couldn't care less about those incidents. They just want fame. In the same way, hacktivists also work for a particular agenda. They just want to make name for them, or they want a particular political party to win, or they want to make a statement on the internet saying that we can hack into your networks. These type of things. So back in the early 2000s, there's a group called Anonymous who single-handedly held the entire government of a country captive in order to make sure that the election is going smoothly. So there's an election going on in a foreign country where they threaten the president that you will not take the term, with you all the corruption is gone, we couldn't make any money. So all the corrupt leaders came together and they made a plan to kill the president. But the anonymous hacker group found out about it and they made a huge mess of the entire country so that they can protect the president and make sure the elections are going safe. Generally, anonymous hackers do not engage in any kind of social activities or any kind of political activities. But when innocent people are at a disadvantage or a risk, we ethical hackers, we get a tendency to move towards them and help them. It's like an involuntary reflex. Then we have state sponsored hackers or nation hackers. So these are the people who are sponsored by the countries. So for example, India, China, Japan, Malaysia, Malaysia, USA and all these companies, right? Countries. So these people will have dedicated cyber security teams, dedicated hacking teams to hack into enemy countries and find any sensitive information they can find. But these people are not government workers. They just get funded by the government, that's all. They are not employees. Do you guys know secret operations, guys? If you watch American movies, there's a CIA, secret operations and spies. So these people are like that. They just sit there like normal people. They work their full-time jobs, and when they have the time or when they are needed, they'll work on hacking into different systems. Then we have cyber terrorists. So what is the main motto for a terrorist organization? For example, let's say Pakistan, ISI, Lashkar and all these groups, right? What is their main motto? Any guesses?
To know about military.
They are terrorists, Ravani. They are not spies. 2007 Taj Hotel bomb blast. What is the purpose of that blast? To make a panic situation inside India so that all of India will be looking toward that situation and they can go and occupy Pakistan. Sorry, Kashmir, not Pakistan. So, what these cyber terrorists do is they want to spread fear, they want to destroy systems, they want to spread malice over the internet, and they commit cybercrime. Generally, these are for political purposes, but there might be still personal ploys in there, personal revenge or some kind of a coveted operation or something. Anything like that is considered as a cyber terrorist. But so then, what is the importance of ethical hacking? Why do we need ethical hacking now? Because when someone tests your invention or when someone tests your product by going it through the ringer, completely destroying it with all those attacks, all those malwares, all the data files, and then saying that yes, your app withstood everything, every attack we did, and it is completely safe. How would that make a business owner feel? You can just hold your spacebar for a couple of minutes to temporarily unmute yourself. So, if a business person is having a small business, how does it feel to know that your app is completely safe, to know what you're building is safe from hackers, coming from a hacker himself? How would it feel? Proud, right? You'll raise your colors. Yes, I made it. I made the perfect app security. So, when you have a stronger offensive team to test the capabilities of your application or the web page you are designing, you'll also feel very secure knowing that your product is sturdy, your product is hard. Then, when there's a lot of security, will there be high risk? For example, there are two security guards in front of your home in a very spooky environment where there are murders going on every single day with only two watchmen for the entire apartment. Would it make you feel safe? Would it make
Yes.
you feel safe?
No.
No, right? But what if I tell you your apartment is surrounded by black commandos, everyone equipped with a machine gun along with an AK-47? How would you feel then? You'll sleep happily, right?
Safe. Yeah.
You'll happily sleep without any concern for the outside issues. So, in the same way, when there's a very strong offensive security team, you'll have a very you'll have a very less amount of risk to your organization or any applications you are trying to build, because the offensive team will take care of any issue that is being raised on the other side. Then you have enhanced trust. So when you have a stronger security team and all your company is at zero risk, will there be trust in order for people to come and give you projects? Will people build a trust on you? They will, right? So when there's a stronger security, reduce risk and enhance the trust, it means that you are following every single guideline that is set up by the IT Act of India 2005 or the CGBAS Act, which means the central board. With all four of these on the picture, the entire we can safely say that the application of the device is safe without any issues. This is the importance of ethical hacking, why we need them. Then, ethical hacking is also a vital component of cybersecurity because you understand the scope, you understand the limit of how much you need to work on. Then, following every single rule you have. It doesn't matter if you have HTTPS yourself or whoever is having that. You have to make sure that you are following the rules, you are following the frameworks exactly in order to get a better result. It's not like you should follow it step by step, but if you can make sure that you are having it clearly with the frameworks, you can also safely say that you are following all the rules set up by the compliance frameworks. Then also, if you want to detect a cyber attack, we need to also understand what kind of a hacker he is, right? We should understand if it's an ethical hacker or non-ethical hacker, grey hat and everything. So as an ethical hacker, you should also possess the knowledge to determine whether this person is a legitimate person or not, whether he has the actual skill or not. You need to understand that. So guys, are we clear so far?
So,
Swati, Satvika, Param, Sairam, and Mr. Venugopalachari.
Yes, I'm clear.
Yeah.
Great. So let's take a 5-minute break. Go have some water or wash your face. And let's sit back by 12 o'clock. 12:05. Sounds good?
Yeah.
hi, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So next let us understand what are the types of cyber attacks we have. Because if you want to work as an ethical hacker, you should be able to determine what kind of an attack can be performed on a particular device with a single glance or with minimal effort. Because if you do not have knowledge of how a cyber attack works, it will be hard for you to predict, or it will be hard for you to work as an ethical hacker. Because your work is to attack and analyze. Attack the systems, attack the websites, and then analyze if they are working properly or not. So, what is a cyber threat? A cyber threat is a piece of software, a PDF, a link, a value, a text file, or anything which can be harmful for a device, a network, a server, a website, which can harm your device's infrastructure is known as a cyber threat. These cyber threats are in two categories, major and minor. We are not talking about them based on the number of influences or the number of instances they were used, but a cyber attack is based on the impact it has on a company or a startup. For example, let's consider this a small company or gaming company with around 20 employees. In those 20 employees, they have 10 computers which are high end and 10 are which are low end. Basically, they need 20 laptops or computers in order for them to go through their work peacefully without any hiccups. Now, someone clicked on a particular email which is not an original one but a fake email, and they downloaded some random software into their computer and installed it. Now, if all 20 of their computers are locked out completely or they're completely damaged, can they work? Can their work go as usual? Why? Because their work completely depends on the devices, on the computers. Now, how much of an impact is this? Is it a small impact or a very big impact?
Big impact.
Very big impact. So this is known as a major threat because it is impacting the most of the organization. Now, in the same scenario, if out of those 20 systems only 2 or 3 are down, will there be a massive difference in the production they have? There will only be a 5 to 10% loss in the work efficiency they already have. So these are called as the types of cyber threats. One will be a major one and a minor one. Now let's go in detail about all these different types of cyber attacks. First one, the moment or the first term that comes to any people's mind when we talk about cyber threats is called as a malware. The word malware itself is a combination of two different words, malicious software. If you divide mal into middle, it's called malware, malicious software, which means it is a software which is designed to harm our system, harm our files, or corrupt any internal details of the operating system or something. That is called as a malware. In malware, we have different types. The first one being a virus. This is the most common word everybody heard about whenever you're dealing with mobiles or laptops. If something is wrong with the phone, people will say, hey, your phone is infected with a virus. Someone hacked into your system using a virus. So a virus is something which can damage your system. It cannot damage your system physically, but it can damage your files, corrupt them, or completely change the contents of your files. And virus has a very distinct characteristic, which is once you download it in a folder and you install it, a virus can self-replicate itself. It can make clones of itself and attach to all the files in your computer. So if you share any file from that device to some other people, their system will also be affected. The next one is worm. A worm and virus are both similar in functionality, but worm has a small advantage, which is worm doesn't need you to transfer the files. A worm can replicate in the network on its own and damage other systems also. So for example, if all 5 of you are connected in a single network in a Wi-Fi zone, if one of your systems is affected with a worm, the worm can replicate itself onto your computers without any consent. It can travel through the network. Basically, you can say virus is like swine flu, which will transmit only by touch. But you can also say worm as COVID-19, which can be spread through air also. Because if you are within the range of 6 feet, gone. Right? So worm and virus are like twin sisters, but the only difference is worm can replicate on its own into the network, Virus cannot replicate into the network but inside the device only. Then we have Trojan horse. A Trojan horse is a technique where we disguise the malicious file as an original software. Have you guys used the WhatsApp applications called FM WhatsApp and GB WhatsApp? Ever heard of them? Those were in trending in 2019-20s.
GB WhatsApp we used
Yes.
for business purpose.
So the one with all those features where you can see deleted messages, download profile pictures and statuses and everything, right? So all the GB and FB WhatsApps are malwares. Those are Trojan horses. Because what they did was they took the WhatsApp application, made some modifications into it, and said that they are releasing the modified version. But in actuality, the moment you install WhatsApp or FM WhatsApp and GB WhatsApp and you give permission to your photos and videos, they are uploaded to their server. So any photo you have in your mobile, it can be hidden, it can be outside, it doesn't matter. All those photos will be backed up to the server whenever you are online. So a Trojan horse is which a legitimate software is used to hide the actual malicious file. So the moment you install the application, in the background the malicious file will run and upload all your details to the server itself. Then we have something called as ransomware. This is what you see in most movies. People hack into systems and ask money for them to release them. This is what people do. This is called as a ransomware, in which they encrypt all the files in your system. They do not steal your files, they only lock them temporarily. So all the decryption keys or the lock to that the key to the particular lock is with the hacker. So now the hacker will demand a payment. He'll ask, send me 2 bitcoins, 3 bitcoins, 4 bitcoins in order for me to release your files. But why bitcoins and what is a bitcoin? A bitcoin is a cryptocurrency developed by I'm not sure his name, by a Chinese person mostly. So no Chinese, Japanese.
Satoshi
Satoshi
Nakamoto.
Nakamoto. Yes. Just remember that. Satoshi Nakamoto, this guy is an unknown person. Nobody knows how he looks like now or whenever he started. So he created a currency which is completely indistinguishable. It cannot be, it's only online, nobody can trace it. So hackers demand payments in bitcoins to make sure that they are not being tracked back. And there is no guarantee that your files will be released even after you pay the money. Because if you take a kidnapping scenario, if a kidnapper abducts your kid, is there any guarantee that if you give him money the kid will be safe? The same goes with ransomware also. Even if you pay the amount they are asking, there is no guarantee that they will supply you with the decryption key. But there is an effective method to counter ransomware, which is all the ransomwares are using an encryption algorithm. So if you can figure out what kind of algorithm they are using to encrypt them, you can find the keys on the internet directly. For all types of ransomwares until now, the keys are available on the internet. So if any of your friends face this kind of a ransomware attack, first determine the kind of algorithm they are using, the hashing protocol, and then use the keys which are related to that particular malware. So these are the types of malware. There are some other malwares which are not so significant, called spyware and adware. A spyware is something which people use to capture data on your camera and microphone, listen to what you're doing. All these typical Telugu movies, when a husband doubts his wife, he'll install a software in the mobile and he'll sit somewhere, watch the camera and everything what the person is doing. Or when criminals want to stalk a person, that is what known as spyware. So these are the major malwares which can be used by hackers. The next one we have phishing, one of the most common and the most feared cyber attacks. It is common because everybody is using, but why is everybody fearing that? Why do people fear phishing? Because phishing is an attack where a hacker deceives you, where a hacker makes you think that you are doing the right thing when you are doing the exact opposite. So for example, you receive an email from your college saying that all your college credentials has been reassigned. So use the following link to generate a new password for your college email ID. Will you click on that or not? The email came from your college itself. Your college is an official email ID, right? For communication. They are sending the email through that particular email address only. You got the official email stating that click on this link in order to reset your password and set up a new one because there is a data breach in our website. Now the moment you hear data breach, you will be thinking that array, my password is gone. Somebody stole my password, so I need to change it. Now what is the most effective method? The official email you got from your college. You'll go and click on it or not? But that official email is also an orchestrated event by the hacker itself. So they can send emails from your official accounts called email spoofing. So they can basically clone the email address which you are receiving from, and they can send an email from the same address, which will make you to likely click on that particular email and give your passwords. Generally phishing is done through emails, so it's called email phishing for the first part. But there are also other types of phishings called spear phishing, whaling, wishing and other stuff, because if you are targeting a group of people, it's called a phishing attack. But if you are targeting an individual person, it's called a spear phishing. So, Swati, who is your favorite actor?
Sorry,
Who's your favorite actor? Did she say something?
audible. Audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Oh, okay.
Who's your favorite actor?
No,
Huh?
are you asking about actor or actress?
Your choice.
Oh,
No, you're not audible. Satvika, who is your favorite hero? Nobody. What do you like? What flavor of ice cream do you like?
Oreo.
Oreo flavored. So let's say Satvika, right? Satvika is sitting in front of a desk. She received an email saying that Creamstone is giving 1+1 offer for Oreo ice creams. Click on the link below to register and claim your coupon code. Will you click on that link? Obviously, right? So this is called spear phishing because I am targeting an individual after knowing their taste, after knowing the favorite item they know, after they knowing the favorite hero or something. How would I know that? If I open her Instagram and see what kind of post she is doing, she'll post somewhere that my favorite ice cream or my favorite hero. She'll like all the hero posts or all the ice cream posts. If I go through that, I can find information about Shravani's favorite item, and I can send in an email with the exact item in that. Oh, not Shravani, sorry, Satvika. And she'll click the email. So that's what is called a phishing attack. More specifically, it's called spear phishing because we are targeting a single person. Then there is something called as whaling, where you target a very high net worth individual in the society, like a politician, a company CEO, or an MD, or a government official. If you are targeting people like these, they are known as whaling attack. It's also a type of phishing attack, but it's called whaling. Then we have something called as denial of service, which means stopping something from functioning. So for example, if someone is using your free Wi-Fi network in your neighborhood, but if you don't want them to use that particular Wi-Fi network and you yourself doesn't have any authority over that, what will you do? Or let me simplify this. This is a small weightlifting competition. You guys are participating in that, or your friend is participating in that. and you don't want them to win. So the average category to win is 15 kilograms. But the only amount of weight your friend can handle is 10 kgs. Now if you don't want them to win, what should you do?
Place.
You should label the 15 kgs as 10 kgs. On the 15 kgs dumbbell or whatever it is, if you write it is 10 kgs, they cannot lift, right? In the same way, or if you are giving them multiple amounts of load or something, they cannot function. In the same way, if you want to take down a website, if you send lakhs and lakhs of requests every single second to the website, will it be able to function properly? If the threshold of the website is 2 lakhs requests per second or per minute, and if you are sending 10 lakh requests per minute, will it work? That is what is known as denial of service. Overwhelming the particular web application or an app to make it unusable. It's called as a denial of service. There are two types. One is denial of service and the other one is distributed denial of service. So if one hacker is trying to hack into a website from a single device, if he is sending all the requests himself, it's called as a DOS attack or denial of service. But if the hacker is using multiple virtual systems in order to send way more requests than the first case, it's called as a distributed denial of service, because the attack is coming from multiple locations. It's as if multiple people are trying to hack into the same device. Let me show you a small example of that.
మనలాగే దొబ్బేస్తున్నారు ఆవులు ఆగలేదు బ్లాక్ at the rate
Here we see the video.
N K 0 0 7 G 2 F.
See, in this particular scene, there are multiple people who are trying to hack into a single device. They are trying to hack a bank here. So there are multiple people attacking a single target. But for a DDoS attack, there will only be a single hacker, but he will be using multiple devices in order to confuse the website into thinking that it's a legitimate request. In distributed denial of service, we have something called as amplification attack and sin-flood attack, which are also the two extensions of this attack, where if you are using amplification attack, you are using a nearby or a small company server, you hack into it and use that server to send huge number of requests than you can send yourself. For example, if you have a very low end PC, you cannot send multiple requests at the same time. So what you will do is, you will look for a small company or a startup near your location, you will hack into their server and use the server infrastructure to send these requests to the website. Since it has around 64 GB of RAM and everything, a server can handle way more requests than a normal PC can. So that is known as a amplification attack. Sairam, turn off your mic.
రేపు ఇంకా అలా వెళ్దాం నువ్వు అలా ఎక్కేదిగా నేను ఇలా చేస్తా ఓకే
Then we have sin-flood attack. So whenever you are sending a request to a server, the first request it goes is a SYN request. Synchronous request, we say that, because it needs to verify if the website is working or not. So if I flood these requests to the server, what happens to the server? it'll always say yes, I'm alright, yes, I'm alright, yes, I'm working, yes, I'm working. So the website will be overwhelmed by the same type of request, but does not be able to function with its normal functionality, because whenever a website receives a send request, it has to respond. There's no way it can ignore that. So using that particular constraint, if you send lakhs and lakhs of requests to that website at a single time, what will happen to the website?
Crash.
Overwhelming.
Come again, Satvika.
Website will get overwhelmed.
Website will be down, right? So that's the main motive for DOS attacks, because they don't want to take money or anything, they just want to destroy the business for a certain period of time. It's called DOS attack. Okay. Then we have man in the middle attack. This man in the middle attack is like hearing a conversation between two people, but here the two people will be two different systems. So if for example, I'm logging to my email address, I'm logging into my Gmail. If someone wants to hack my Gmail address, they can sit in my network and they can monitor my entire network traffic to find out the credentials of my email. Because no matter how secretly I sit in the corner of a room and enter my password, it has to travel through the network. So if this person can intercept that network traffic between me and the server, he can take the password, right? So it's called man in the middle attack. Or it's like when you are hearing two people in a conversation while you are being in a conference call. You can gather all the information you want, but the two other people doesn't know that you are in the conference. That's called as a man in the middle attack. So there are three types of man in the middle attacks. First one is session hijacking, which means if you want to hack into someone's WhatsApp or something, there's no need for you to go and hack into their phone entirely. You can just hack the login session they are trying to use. You guys know WhatsApp web, right? So whenever you are logging into a WhatsApp web, you will be given a secret code called session ID, which means WhatsApp will know that you logged into this particular system only. Now if I can copy that particular session ID from your device, will I be able to log into a different device with the same ID? Entirely possible, right? So that's what we do in session hijacking. Any ethical hacker or any hacker does is, he'll steal that session ID and paste it in a different browser in order to fool the server, saying that the same person or the same account logged here also, the same session. There is no malicious activity. Then we have SSL stripping. Here SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer, which is used for encrypting the transmission of data to and from web pages, which is basically we use in HTTPS. So if you pull down that from SSL, remove that SSL from the website forcibly, the website will be back to HTTP, where your information will be going in plain text. Rather than hacking your session ID, if I pull down you from HTTPS to HTTPS, the moment you type your password, it will go as a plain text. Now I don't want to steal anything. All your credentials will be visible on your network itself. So that is known as SSL stripping. It is also one of the man in the middle attacks. The final one is called DNS spoofing. So DNS is like a database of all the information about websites. So whenever you want to access a website or a domain, the first request from your device will go to a nearby DNS. From the DNS, it will take the information about the website's IP address and then it will revisit the website. So if, for example, if you know the DNS address of your nearby DNS and if you make the network believe that you are the actual DNS, can you manipulate the destinations of those requests? For example, if Swati wants to visit google.com, I am also in the same network as Swati. Now I am pretending to be a DNS with a fake google.com domain pasted in a different location. Now if I, with my DNS spoofing skill, if I set the address as saying that okay, I want any request to google.com to be redirected to the particular IP I set. Now whatever Swati is searching on the google.com, she'll be searching in my website. Now if she goes for login, I'll get the details, or will Google get the details? I'll get the details, right? So that's called DNS spoofing. Let's end it with the next two terms. Then we have SQL injection, one of the most feared attacks after phishing. Because with SQL injection, you can directly attack the database of a particular website. So how do we do this? When there are unauthorized logins accessible on a particular website, we can use that to hack into the database and bring out all the administrator passwords, all the data you stored inside that file, and everything we need from a website using malicious SQL queries. You see, database uses SQL language, right? So once we bypass the authentication, any request I send to the website or the the database, the database will return all the information I ask, because the authorization is bypassed already. I am in the root user logins, which means as an administrative user. Then there are three types of SQL injection: classic, blind, and time based. The first one is what we discussed now, bypassing authentication and sending SQL request to the database. The second one is blind SQL injection, which means the attacker doesn't care if we are getting a request from the website or not. He'll just keep on attacking continuously. So at one point he can gain access to the particular database. We have a saying, right? Stop not until you succeed. The same thing the hacker does. He won't stop until he got the access for the website. Then we have time based. So what the hacker does here is, he'll use the time delay between two requests in order to gather information from the database. So for example, I say, hi Satvika, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
So if you are responding to a particular request, this is some delay, right, for you to understand the question and respond. In the same way, if you are sending multiple requests to the domain also for the database, it will take some time to adjust to the number of requests and then respond. So using that time, using that interval time to gain unauthorized access is called, what do we call that? Time based blind SQL injection. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Satvika, a bit confused, are you?
No, sir, I'm clear.
Fine. So we have something called as credential stuffing, but we won't use this term mostly in the cybersecurity world. What we'll be looking for is brute force attack. A brute force attack is where you try all the possible combination of passwords for a particular account or a device. So in movies, if you see hackers trying to break into safes, bank lockers or something, they'll try all possible combinations for that password. That is what we call as a brute force attack. We are forcing our way inside with pure strength alone. By multiple times logging in, it's called as a brute force attack. It comes under the category called credential stuffing because you're basically trying to feed all your passwords you have into this particular login field. But there's also another method where you use bots to log in from different locations in order to make sure that the website is not blocking you from with the three login limits. In any website, if you log in for 3 successful failures, it will block you, right? So in order to negate that possibility, you will be logging from different locations, so that the website thinks that some random other person is trying to log in and not the same user. insider threats. These guys are the cream of the crop. These guys are like, so have you guys seen a recent incident where a Starbucks employee was fired from her post, and she posted all the Starbucks recipe on the internet? Now what happened to Starbucks? They lost all their secret formulas, right? I'm not sure if you guys watched that news, but something like this happened. So they fired her in a bit of revenge. She took photos of all the recipes of how they make the coffee, and she posted it on the internet as a revenge. In the same way, if there are people within our organization, within the company, within our friend group who are trying to sabotage us, who are trying to hack into us, they are known as insider threats. Basically, like our Telugu movie Hero Friends, they'll be with the hero for the last part, and in the last they'll backstab him. Classic hero plot. So, in the same way, there are three types of insider threats: malicious, negligent, and compromised. This malicious insider is the revenge part. The Starbucks employee. They want revenge. They leak out sensitive information wantedly. Then we have negligent insider. These are the people who are not serious about their login credentials, or not particular about where they are logging in. For example, if you went to your hometown, you did not take your laptop, your manager calls you and asks you to log in immediately. So you borrow a laptop from one of the neighbors or students in that particular village, you log into it, you complete your work, but you forget to log out. You forget to log out from that particular session. And some people who he knows, or someone who uses his laptop, is a hacker. Now, will that hacker be able to gain all your company insights? So that's what we call as a negligent insider. This guy doesn't know that he is responsible for this particular type of hack. Then we have compromised insider. This guy is the worst of all, because he doesn't know that his password has been leaked in a data breach. So these are the people whose passwords were leaked in a data breach, and they doesn't know about that. So if, for example, you get an email saying that your password has been compromised in a data breach, please change it. Would you ignore that email, or would you consider the possibility to be at least 10 to 20% true? But these people are not like that. They just ignore it completely, or they are not serious about that security. Those are known as compromised insider. These people doesn't know that their password has been stolen. They themselves, the account is compromised, the account is hacked already, and the hacker is using an already hacked account in order to gain access into this domain or website. Then we have APTs, advanced persistent threats. So these are like long-term attacks. For example, whenever you hack into a system or an Android phone, the maximum duration your mobile will have access to that is 15 to 20 minutes for the initial hack. But if you want to control the device for the next 1 year, 2 years, or completely have them in your grasp, we'll use an attack called advanced persistent threat, because this attack will give you access for around 2 to 3 years continuously, and this will be implemented in different phases for a longer duration, like 6 months, 1 year. They'll take time to set this up properly. And these are the phases of that particular APT. Initial compromise means the first hack. Persistence means to make sure that the connection does not cut after 15 to 20 minutes, establishing a backdoor or a complete persistent connection, permanent connection. Lateral movement is escaping from malwares and antivirus scanners. So in colleges you do this, right? Whenever they are checking phones, you will pass the phones around the class, or you will give it to some attenders or your favorite teachers or somewhere. In the same way, the file will wander your entire computer in order to escape from security scans. It will move on its own. If it is scanning in downloads, it will go to pictures. If it is scanning in pictures, it will go to videos. Different locations. That is known as lateral movement, to escape from the scanners. Then we have the next phase is data exfiltration, which means here the hacker will take whatever data he wants. He'll filter out the amount of data you have, He'll take the particular data he needs. Because not every hacker wants your photos. Not every hacker wants your offer letters. People hack for certain agendas. So whatever his agenda is, he'll implement it in the data exfiltration phase where he'll upload the data from your device into his device directly. No emails, nothing. Since you're already connected via reverse connection, the data transfer will be very easy. Finally, command and control. At this point of time, the victim's computer will do whatever you say it. If you ask it to shut down, it will shut down. If you ask it to open a tab, it will open. If you ask it to destroy itself, it will destroy itself. So basically, having a full control over the system is the final phase for an advanced persistent threat. Then finally, social engineering. My favorite attack. Social engineering is the art of hacking humans. When I say hacking humans, I don't mean that I will hack into your brain or something, but I'll manipulate you into divulging sensitive information or data. For example, you went to college on your first day. You don't know anyone there from previously. So if someone comes to you and asks, hey, which class are you, what floor are you, or what is your roll number or something, you won't get your roll number on the first day though. But basic details like this: where do you come from, what is your previous experience, previous study and all, will you tell them? On the first day, since you're making friends, you'll be very friendly with them. But after a couple of months or so, you'll get somewhat close to that person, or you're happy with them, nice friends. Then will you talk about personals or not? Any issues at home, boyfriends, girlfriends, all these topics. Once you get comfortable with the person. So using that methodology, making a conversation with some person, having a gossip, having a conversation, and then finding out where they live, what kind of bank account they are using, what is their Instagram ID and all this stuff, it's called as social engineering, the art of human hacking. These three are the phases or different types. First one is pretexting. For example, if there's a girl I like, in order for me to go and talk to her, I need a situation, right? I need a reason to make her talk, not for me to talk. To engage the conversation, I need a topic of discussion. So that's what is called as pretexting. I need to create or fabricate a scenario to keep that conversation going. Next one is baiting, which means offering something in return to gathering information. So if I say, whenever you go to shopping malls and stuff, people will carry small chits in their hands and give you like, madam, please write your phone number and your name, you'll get lucky draw. Especially in shopping malls. So what they are doing is, they're creating a scenario where they're saying that you'll get a free gift. And using that free gift as an excuse, they are gathering your phone number and your name. Now if they sell this number and name to a particular sales company, they'll call you multiple times. If they go into banks and all, they'll say, sir, please take the credit card. Madam, do you need loan to buy your makeup kits? They'll do all this stuff. So that is what social engineering is all about. And the last one is impersonation. Like acting like someone else. These scammers do this so much times because they'll call you saying that, hello madam, we are calling from ICICI Bank, your card is about to expire. Please tell us the OTP for us to renew your card. Or your account has nil balance or negative balance. But when you say, no, I deposited 10,000 yesterday only, but my account doesn't have negative balance, they'll ask, okay madam, please give us a small OTP so that we can verify on your end. You give the OTP, all 10,000 gone. Because you yourself tell them that how much money you have in your bank account. So this is known as a cyber attack. One of the most lethal one called as social engineering. So that's from my end, guys. Let's stop here. Now let's open the session for Q&A. Any questions you have, please ask.
Cybersecurity terminology. As you said, we have gone through all these phases like ransomware and email phishing and all these attacks. But we used to depend on third-party companies. It's a very quite information. From last 7 years, we are into the web development, but we are just looking after about the cyber security because almost all the AI tools right now, Replit and Claude, all these tools are generating the entire website. There is a no
Yes,
scope for us to come into the picture in the future. We are a bit worrying about our job. It may be in the recession right now. In the future, it will be completely automatic. Fortunately, I can tell. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate for a web developers because 99% of the code has been done by the AI tools. We are looking for any other alternative domains. Then we figure out how far cybersecurity will not affected by this AI.
definitely
I
not.
believe, yeah.
Cybersecurity will never be affected by this AI revolution because no, even if we try to integrate AI into cybersecurity, there's only 2 to 3% of the area, that's all. To make reports and all that stuff. But when it comes to actual operations, a human has to work on this. So AI does not replace this.
Oh, great. Thanks for the info. We want to know about your company like Vajra Infosec, like what it is offering, and what about this exploit phrase.
Okay, so Vajra Infosec or Vertilock, as you mentioned, is a cybersecurity startup focusing on small and medium enterprises because all major companies have huge budgets for cybersecurity. They'll hire a bunch of people and put them there. But a small startup or a mid stage company or a small business doesn't have the budget, doesn't know the knowledge about all this stuff. So I started Vajra Infosec on the brand name Vertilock to support small and medium enterprises in securing their data, devices, their networks, and everything. So Vertilock is completely on the execution side. It's completely on security operations. But coming to XploitForge, the main purpose for me to start XploitForge is that a couple of months ago I wanted to hire interns for my firm. But the moment I started interviewing, I took around 100 interviews. I didn't find a single candidate who's having the right skills. All of them are having Google knowledge only. They're just searching on Google, studying the definition, and they're replicating on the interview. But I want my people who will be working with me in the future to have actual practical skills. So that's why I was like, okay, let me start a cybersecurity training program where there'll be 80% practical learning so that people can have hands-on experience and learn from actual industry experts. One is myself, and I also have a couple of other members in my team. So they will be having me. I will be mostly on the offensive side, ethical hacking and penetration testing. For SOC, one of my friends will be taking over occasionally, not entirely, but occasionally. And also, the exploit force or moral is that we try to do things on the weekends. All these trainings are on a weekend only model, so that college students and working professionals can focus on completely on their work for the 5 days, and on Saturday and Sunday for 2 hours they'll be having two classes. Even if you take a regular class every day, it'll only be 4 to 5 hours a week. So why waste every single day, taking stress from both your college and office? Why? That's the reason why I said a weekend approach. You can come learn from us on the weekends. During the weekends, you work on your full-time job or your college stuff and everything. That's it.
It was great info and great thought to kickstart your company. And I have a small doubt. It's been 7 years in the industry. We go through the LinkedIn profile. I found that you are a recent graduate in the 2022, but still you capture so much of market with early startup founder. Uh,
Yes.
Like, if there any opportunity, would you like to join in, in your educational training things? Can we get any bright opportunity in US or UK?
Yeah, definitely. Because you see, with the growing demand for cybersecurity professionals, global companies are still looking for remote jobs or people who are willing to work remotely. And one major country where they are looking for is India. There are 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs vacant in the entire world right now. 3.5 million, around 35 lakhs. So there's a very huge demand for people who are working offline, online. It doesn't matter if you're working in a Indian company or an US company, whether you're working from here or completely from on site, you'll have great opportunities after this training.
Is there any training assistance will provide from you, or you giving any job
Definitely.
assurance?
No. Definitely, there will be training and placement assistance. We won't be doing proxy and stuff, but we'll give you any other support we can. Like referrals, letter of recommendations if you need. That we can do because we do have types with different organizations. And if there are any new projects that are starting after this training of yours, I myself may consider your profiles depending on your progress till there until that point.
In India, there are so many companies who can hire, but the pay scale will be very little low when we compare
No,
with
no, no,
US
no.
and UK.
When it
That
comes
was
to
the major
cybersecurity,
concern.
there's a regulation stating the amount of salary you need to pay, so they won't be ripping you off. No way. For this particular role and for the particular experience, there's a defined salary. If you're starting in a job, the minimum pay they should give you is 3.5 lakhs, which is 25,000 in hand. That's the minimum standard. If you have 1 year of experience, around 4.5. There are some rules stating that you need to follow these salary packages in cybersecurity.
Whereas in software, we have a levels SD1, SD2, SD3. In cybersecurity, is there any levels like that so that based on that the pay scale will define?
Yes, there are some levels, but levels are only considered in SOC operations. For ethical hacking and penetration testing, your experience matters. That's all. There are no levels you need to wire, but your certifications also add a very much value to your profile. If you want to be an ethical hacker, you can go for CEH. If you want to become a penetration tester, you can go for CPENT or OSCP. There are multiple of them.
And one final question: the sessions which you are going to take on weekends, is it like offline session or is it a virtual session? Do you have
It's
any office premises in Hyderabad?
currently it's a virtual session because what my plan was, you study online for the first 2 months. In the third month, you'll be coming to the office where you'll be working on an internship process, not just training. You'll be given a live project to work as an internship.
Thanks a lot for the info. For reaching you out again, is there any email ID or contact number we will get?
Yeah, it's a info at XploitForge.in. You can contact me anytime.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Venu. So, Satvika, Swati, any doubts? So, we are starting a new batch from June 5th, which is 10 days from now. So, if you want to enroll or share it to friends, that will be great. And if you want to discuss further, you can ping me on my WhatsApp also. It's fine.
Can I have your WhatsApp number?
You will find the details on the website.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, on top of the website exploitforce.in, you'll have my number itself, so you can contact me. Around the pricing or if you want to negotiate something, I'm open.
Great. Thank you.
Sadhvika, sorry to interrupt you. Please start.
No, sir, everything is cleared.
Yeah, okay, great. So in this training program, on Saturday you'll have 2 hours of session, and on Sunday you'll have a practical about the 2 hours. For the first half an hour you'll be having practical, Then we'll go on to the next topics. You will be having your own hands-on labs within your computers. There's no cloud access and all that stuff. You don't need to worry about access and everything. We'll set up a lab within your laptop, completely isolated from your actual laptop, so that even if you mess up something, your laptop will not be damaged. And you'll be working on real-time hacking scenarios and hacking tools. So brace up.
What is the course duration?
3 months, 12
Thank
weeks.
you.
If that's all, then let's drop off for today. Let's have a wonderful weekend. Have some good food.
Thanks a lot for the information you have passed on.
Thank you, Venum. We'll talk.
Sure.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining my session today. Thank you for joining XploitForge now. If you want a recap or recording of this, you can check our official channel. We'll be posting it by tomorrow morning. It is YouTube @the XploitForge. If you want to go through this again or if you have some doubts, please check that out. Thank you everyone.